GM. GM. Monday, 13th of May. This week we have CPI on Wednesday, so I'm expecting chop until then. I don't think there's probably not going to be a strong directional move until Wednesday, if we get one at all. Starting the week, moving up, but let's look first at the weekly close. So the weekly closed below the 12. We've opened this week with a bit of green, but obviously we're just trading within last week's candle. Pushing up into the bands again. Bands remain red. Can't go lower than the 100. Can't go higher than the 50. So really anything in between here is just for short-term day trades, etc. And I don't see any direction. I don't see any clear direction. I don't really have any strong opinion in this particular phase, because it's just compressing and getting lower and lower and lower in terms of volatility. So until something happens, one side or the other, I don't think there's a whole lot to really say for BTC. And as a result, it's going to compress volatility across the market, including alts as well. ETH BTC continues to bleed, showing that there's, to me that shows a real lack of interest in crypto in general. Because the only saving grace was Solana before Christmas and sort of January, February as well. But if you think about it, if it wasn't for that little burst of retail activity on Solana, this would basically be a Bitcoin only move. Solana itself has stopped for now, and not even just for now, for 2 months. It has not moved. In fact, it's just moved down. A little flurry of activity on base chain, but not much, and nothing on Ethereum. So I don't think there's a huge amount of interest, genuine retail speculation or whatever, and we're waiting for that to come back. Or the thing is, at the moment there's an assumption that it will come back. Everyone's assuming that the best is ahead of us and that the cycle will continue and Ethereum's going to rip faces and then bull market, up only, all of that, possibly. But I would want to see some strength. I would really like to see Ethereum start to have some sustained outperformance. And it just doesn't. Like, this is, again, how many times did people on your timeline try and call the bottom on this? All the while, it's just been horrendously bearish. Take the lows, sweeps inside. That should have been the reversal, right? Take the lows, back inside. Should have held. Went below again, back inside. Should have held. Now it's just new lows again. And like I keep saying, eventually this will bottom, right? Eventually it'll reach a bottom. But the point of that is, eventually is no good as a trader, right? Oh, eventually it's going to reach a level where it bottoms out and has a run up. But it's no good to nobody. And looking across the market, not seeing much overly interesting. A lot of stuff needs a bit more time to put in bottoms. Talked about this all on Weekly Outlook yesterday. Bitcoin itself. Ethereum looks messy. Ethereum tends to look messy at the lows though. Solana, a little better. Yeah, so the whole thing is just in consolidation. There's no confirmation till Solana breaks 160 or 120. And so it can look strong and be 140 this week and be 127 next week, and nothing would really have changed. Gold, stocks. How much going on there? The dollar. Expect the dollar to weaken. A lot of people think this is the dollar bottoming out. I don't think so. I think this is more likely than not going to actually lead to downside, which would be good for risk assets. Bitcoin dominance starting to rise up a little bit again, which is interesting. You've seen that outperformance by, there was a brief period of outperformance there by altcoins, which is now gone. There's not much to say. I'm not gonna go on too much because there's really nothing happening. So now's the time to plan and prepare for later on. Right, you want to be looking at whatever coins you got your eye on. Obviously, you know where the daily bands are at with Bitcoin, right? You got your daily bands that are still red, but also your 4-hour trend. So you want to put on 50, 100, 200 and look at the 4-hour trend, how's it shaping up. The 50 is below the 100, which is below the 200. Right, so the 4-hour trend is the one that you want to follow as price moves up, along with the daily bands themselves. So for that, you're going to need to see Bitcoin reclaim here, probably chop around, rise up, and then you'll start to see those bands coming into bullish formation, right? They were last bullish over here, then they flipped bearish, they've been bearish, they need to flip back. So work to do, and the same goes for any coin you're trading, right? Solana's trying to, right? The 50 is trying to cross the 100. Good start. Say, nope. Sui, nope. Render already has that, 50, 100, 200, in line, as does a few different coins that have been trending up. If you saw in trading analysis, by the way, I have no positions. I had a render short, which I closed. The render short was from 10.49. I think I have it here. The red line, 10.54. Closed the render short because it rejected below my entry. So closed that one in a slight loss. WIF was the other one I still had open. Closed Pepe a while back, if you remember, a few days ago. WIF was open from 312. It was in profit, closed it as well. WIF's weak structurally. I wouldn't be surprised to see it go lower, but there's a sign of a double bottom here. And overall, the market, I believe, I don't think it's set for downside continuation yet. I think Bitcoin is in a squeeze. It's probably going to squeeze higher. But to be perfectly honest, I just don't want to trade and chop. And there's no, I don't see any easy wins. I don't see any easy wins here. I don't see any easy trades. So no point over trading. And price-based plus time-based invalidations I would always have on trades. So price-based WIF is fine. It was in profit. Price-based render was fine. It hadn't hit my stop loss. But time-based, both are just moving too slowly. And with a lack of volatility like this, right? From WIF having the nice breakdown a few days ago, it's just consolidating, low volatility, choppy, messy, no clear direction, not giving you really anything to trade off, not giving much of a setup. So for me, I'm just going to wait. I don't see any decent trading conditions. I think Bitcoin probably has to go a bit higher to reach a level at which it will then drop from. Mentioned this yesterday or whenever it was. if I check here, yeah. Mentioned yesterday that if Bitcoin goes above 61.8, which is up here, if it goes above 61.8, it should go to 62.6, which it did pretty quickly. And above 62.6, you got 63.3 up here, which I see as one of the next levels. And 63 itself, obviously with the round number, which it's hit into so far. So if this is just a gap fill inefficiency, I would expect Bitcoin to head back down, fill in the rest of this gap. And then if it's going to continue squeezing up bullish, it'll probably grind back up into those highs, which all of that would then form a pretty solid bottom and actually give a decent chance that there's a low, a high, a higher low, and we can push into a higher high. And Bitcoin can begin then a slow process of getting bullish again with view to a run towards the range high. So right now it's too early to say. Right now it's really just a squeeze, but that's what I've got my eye on. And above 62.6, you can expect continuation. Falls back below that 62.6, I'd expect pretty quickly for it to move to 61.8. Price doesn't tend to hang around in this in-between zone for too long. It chopped around a bit a few days ago. But Bitcoin tends to have distributed most of its price action up here or down here. And so if it falls back inside here and then starts to fill this in and holds that, that might be a sign as well that it's building a bit of value higher. But overall, not reading too much into this. And early week, you saw a move down off the daily open, right? Up initially, quick spike up, move down, take out some stops, take out some lows. Big strong rally up. And Mondays don't tend to give a clear direction. I don't think this means that we're going to have a trending week necessarily. I would be surprised if we didn't do anything other than just that for most of the week. And then CPI, which is Wednesday, around lunchtime. Then price might make a clear directional move to the lows or to the highs based upon the number. If you see inflation dropping, you're probably going to see risk assets pump. If you see inflation rising, you're probably going to see them dump. I really don't think, apart from this squeeze coming in, I don't think traders are going to continue pushing the market up before CPI. Possibly. Keep an eye on the stock market for that, but I'm leaning towards just a drop back from here. All right. That's it. GM.